Welcome to a wet Germany for today's practice session here at the world-famous Hockenheimring. This 4.5-kilometre track is steeped in history and has been the scene of many special races over the years. We're expecting the session to start within the next few minutes. So it's dark skies overhead then, and plenty of dark looks from the pit wall as well. A frustrating time for the engineers, Anthony Davidson, who I imagine were hoping for some dry running today. But it's absolutely chucking it down out there.
Oh, well, you have to feel for the guys and girls on the pit wall, Crofty. You know, so much work goes into getting these two cars out on track, not just from the pit wall, but from hundreds of people back at the factory too. The race team here at the circuit are just the most visible part of a very wide operation. And then the rain comes, and you immediately know a bunch of things. First, you aren't going to get much running. Second, you're going to see a lot of useless data, even if you do get out there. And third, the odds of needing an emergency rebuild before qualifying just went through the roof.
What's up, YouTube land? Xeno Gaming back here for the 10th episode of my 2018 F1 Formula 1 career mode. Here today we're at Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix. Firstly, had an upgrade in some engine and aero department. Also one of the aero bits failed, so that's unfortunate, but we do jump ahead of Toro Rosso and get closer to McLaren in that midfield battle, which is good for us as the Sauber team to try and score points more consistently for Charles, and so we can challenge the other teams. But here we go, we'll take it to qualifying now.
Welcome to Germany for today's qualifying session at the famous Hockenheimring. The pit lane lights will turn green in the next minute or two to signify the start of qualifying. Drivers tend to complain about tyre wear around this track, and the compounds on offer this weekend aren't likely to put that issue to bed. Is this going to be about who can make the tyres last?
Tyre wear is always something you have to consider to a certain degree. Finding a good car balance that suits the circuit will help prolong the life of the tyre, but it's true that some circuits, such as this one, are more challenging than others. How hard you can push them depends on your strategy and how tight the battle is around you.
Welcome to the qualifying for the German Grand Prix. This is a track that I do like, but here is our first run. We went out on the soft tyre as we had that for choice, so we used that first to see what this tyre would do, and it didn't really perform too well when we set a 1 minute 14.1. Not good enough to beat Brendan Hartley and Toro Rosso, so we came out again really quickly actually because of the threat of rain for the ultra soft tyre, and we put in a much better lap time of 1 minute 12.9. So we did that with about 10 minutes left in the session. But now we got through that session, moving through onto Q2, and this is the first run in Q2, as we set a lap time of a 112.7, sorry, it's hard to see. And now this is the our last lap in Q2. That threat of rain, by the way, did show up at the end of Q1, start of Q2, but the rain did go away. Now it's sunny again, and this is a much better lap to end us for Q2. Missed the apex slightly there, doesn't lose us too much time, but come through the final corner and we set a 1 minute 12.049, and that was our best lap of the day in Q2, making it through to Q3, finishing 5th. Our teammate Leclerc would finish 15th with Alonso, Sainz, Grosjean and Magnussen all eliminated from Q2. This is our flying lap now in Q3, and unfortunately I went out with about 3 minutes left to go in the session. I did a slow out lap to try and avoid the traffic, but it hasn't worked. Unfortunately I've caught Ricardo at a horrible point of the track, and he hasn't moved out the way, so we have to dive up the inside here. Bit of contact with him, that slowed us down quite a bit. So unfortunately it's only going to be P10 for us and Romano on the grid today, with Lewis Hamilton taking the pole position from Raikkonen, Vettel, Bottas, Verstappen, Ricardo 6th, Perez, Ocon, Hulkenberg, and then Romano in 10th. So I hope you guys now enjoy this race.
There's nowhere at all I'd rather be today than here at Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix. We have an incredibly competitive field this year, which means we should be in for a treat. And judging by the sea of people filling the grandstands, there's a fair-sized chunk of Germany that agrees with me. It's 2.8 miles around the Hockenheimring then, and some fairly wet conditions to overcome on this 17-corner circuit. The long curved back straight leads into a tight hairpin for the best overtaking opportunity. But expect to see the cars running wide, as braking offline could prove very difficult indeed. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about the captain. As with all the drivers at this level, they have a lot of ambition, but Formula One's a daunting step up from any other series, so expectations are high right from the start.
And this is something that has ended the career of many a young driver, as that leap up to Formula One proves to be too much. But luckily in this case, I'd say they're doing a good solid job, and the risk the team took in signing them is definitely starting to pay off.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Kimi Raikkonen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Bottas, Max Verstappen and Ricciardo, Perez, Ocon, Hülkenberg, and the captain, Magnussen, Grosjean, Carlos Sainz and Alonso, Leclerc, Gasly, Stoffel Van Dorn and Brendan Hartley. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
You managed to qualify better than we expected yesterday, so let's do the same again today.
Welcome to the 2018 German Grand Prix. It's going to be a great race. You can see there is some weather. Despite the fact it's raining, everybody's starting on the dry tyres. It's going to be an interesting one. I hope you guys really enjoy this race. I thought it was quite enjoyable from my point of view. It's a tricky opening stage to this Grand Prix. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the race. 5 red lights. And let's go for the German Grand Prix. Tricky start in these conditions with the water on the track, but Romano doesn't get the best start, but not a bad start either, and he remains in 10th place as Ocon and Hülkenberg go side by side through turn 1. Now Romano gets a good drive out of turn 1. He pulls alongside Hülkenberg. Will he have a diver on Ocon? He will, and Perez as well. He has a look. A bit of contact between him and Perez as Perez turns into the corner, but Romano slides out of turn 3, I believe, and gets the job done. And that is a good start for Romano. 3 places already on the opening lap, as he now will have a go at Ricciardo into the hairpin. Not quite, as Vettel looks like he's trying to make a move on Bottas, but he's not able to make it stick and sticks behind him. Hamilton has a huge lead out front with Raikkonen second, Bottas third, Vettel fourth, Verstappen 5th, Ricciardo 6th, Romano 7th, Perez 8th, Ocon 9th and Nico Hülkenberg in 10th. It's your top 10 so far in the German Grand Prix. It's been a opening lap where the drivers are just looking to feel the conditions, have a feel just to see what kind of grip they have underneath them. Very much not pushing too hard to make sure they don't make a mistake. As Perez now ranges up to the back of Romano. Will he have a look? Not quite. Hamilton's got a nice 3-second lead out front. This is his race to lose now for the Mercedes driver. He needs this win desperately to get his championship fight back on track, as he sits a 1 minute 26.9 for a decent opening lap, really good opening lap in these conditions. And all the drivers are struggling. It's no different for anybody other driver, but Romano now losing touches with the front 6 as Perez is all over the back of him, and Romano goes slightly wide at turn 3. Honestly not sure what the corner numbers here are at Germany. They're all kind of weird. I'm not sure if that's turn 2 or 3. Anyway, but here comes Perez in the slipstream. Will he have a look down the inside into turn 6? The hairpin, tightest corner, slowest corner on this track. Romano's locked up the tyre though, and he got his wide. Perez did slip through. That's my bad on the editing there. Now I move on to lap 6, and Perez is into the pit lane. And Romano wasn't really challenged by Ocon. And then 2 laps later, Romano has come into the pits with Hamilton behind him, losing time behind us. Raikkonen able to close up onto him. So we are into the pits now for our first pit stop of the race. I did 2 extra laps. I thought I might as well stop raining, so you try and use the ultra soft tyre as much as we can. Now we're going to put on a soft tyre. Hopefully it's a bit fresher than the other guys. And they were actually stuck in a bit of traffic. You can see Perez is just there behind the two Toro Rossos.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. You'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Sorry, Jeff, and Hulkenberg's just come out ahead of us, and Ocon behind us. So Ocon's lost some time to everybody, and so have we, because Hulkenberg's managed to jump in, and Perez is about 5 seconds ahead. So that's how much time we lost by doing the 2 extra laps on the ultra soft tyre, unfortunately. But lost a couple of seconds, but it's alright, because now we have fresher tyres, and now we're on the back of Lance Stroll and Brendan Hartley here on the start of lap 11 of the German Grand Prix. As Romano now, will he have a go into turn 1? No way through there, as now he gets a much better exit than the Williams car that just struggles for downforce and chassis and grip overall. Not sure which way to go, and Romano's going to try and dive it around the outside of Stroll. He does this up, goes underneath Stroll with a nice little move around the outside at turn 4 there. Now here comes Esteban Ocon with DRS in the Mercedes powered Romano. No DRS, he's just a sitting duck, and Ocon streams past him. Beautiful double overtake there by Esteban Ocon, and he holds on through the braking zone, and Romano is going to have to sit in P16, Ocon up to 15th, Stroll back to 17th, losing 2 positions. Next lap, here's Ocon having a move on Brendan Hartley into turn 2, makes it move stick, and now Ocon tries to hold it around the outside. He just manages to hold on, no DRS up on Hartley's pulling alongside. Here comes Romano in the Ferrari powdered Sauber. Ocon's lost out to Hartley. Romano down the inside of Hartley. He brakes late, and the brakes almost hit to the back of Gasly. Hartley and Ocon slip through again. Unbelievable here. Romano almost taking up Pierre Gasly. Luckily for both of them, he doesn't take out Gasly. And now moving into lap. We're still in the middle of lap 12 here. Romano still in P16, frustrating for him and Ocon. They have to sit behind Hartley for another lap. They would like to move forward. Romano, good exit here, but not quite enough overspeed to make a move down the inside there. And just a bit of follow each other through this sector, not really too many overtaking opportunities, but now Ocon will have the DRS on Brendan Hartley for the run to turn 1. Will he be able to make the move stick into turn 1?
We've pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
Thanks, Jeff. Not quite, but Ocon going to have a look into turn 2. Romano around the outside of turn of Ocon. He's going to try and get the double under move, but he's not had the best exit out of there, Romano, and Ocon is ranging up onto the back of Hartley, and Hartley has been overtaken by Esteban Ocon. Will Romano have a go into the hairpin? Yes, he will. He's going to have a look at Ocon. Oh, it's very close between the two drivers. And what a move by Romano. Really late on the brakes. Unbelievably late on the brakes to pull that off. Locked at the front and right tyre. But Ocon's got better straight line speed here. And he rounds him back out around the outside for turn 8. So Ocon once again ahead. But now on to lap 14. Ocon having a go at Gasly and Van Dorn, I believe. Yes, it's Van Dorn, but Romano with the late move, just at the last second pulls out, makes the move on Esteban Ocon. A great move there for P14 for Chris Romano, and now he's chasing down Stoffel Van Dorn and Pierre Gasly. These guys are all on the 1 stop, while Ocon and Romano on the 2 stop. They need to get past these two guys desperately to have a better, to not hurt their race, as Gasly moves it down the defending hard against Van Dorn. Contact between 2 through turn 7. Van Dorn's now got the inside position for turn 8. Will he make it sticky? Tries to push Gasly out wide. Gasly holds on around the outside. Now turns to the inside for the next corner as they go into to sector 3 now. And Gasly just holds on to Stoffel Van Dorn for P12. And this is great racing between these two. Really fighting for pride because they're not in the points at the minute, and they still haven't made their first pit stop here. Now, will Romano be able to get past the both of them through the DRS zones here? We've got 3 straights of DRS now. Runs a little bit wide on exit. Will he be able to get close enough to Van Dorn? As something's happened behind, not sure. I think it's a bit of an issue with Lance Stroll. There's a nice exit for Romano, and he gets past Stoffel Van Dorn going towards turn 2 and 3. As now will he make this another move here on Pierre Gasly, as he has the DRS, and we do get confirmations Lance Stroll is out of the Grand Prix, pressing the wrong buttons here, changing camera view. But now back on board with Romano, and he easily breezes past Pierre Gasly for P12 in this Grand Prix. And next up for him is Charles Leclerc. I think Ocon has also made a move on Brendan Hartley. Stoffel and he's now past Gasly as well. As now we're coming up behind Valtteri Bottas, who has a bit of an issue with his car. Not sure what kind of issue. So really going slowly through these last few corners, last sector. And as we come out of the final corner, as you see, we just breeze past Valtteri Bottas on the main straight. Some sort of engine issue, or I'm not sure what it was. And I was quite confused the way he was going so slowly at the time. So yeah. Anyway, we get a free position there up into P8, and now we're going to be chasing down Nico Hülkenberg and Sergio Perez for 7th and 6th in this Grand Prix. But I would ask Jeff about the Bottas situation.
Our gap behind is 0.8 seconds. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 11 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. They have some kind of mechanical problem. The time last lap was a 1:21.6.
So there you go, Bottas with a mechanical issue. Now we're on the back of Nico Hülkenberg on the end of lap 19 here, start of lap 20 now, as he comes into the pit lane for his second pit stop, and so does Sergio Perez. So Daniel Ricciardo, the car behind us.
The pit window.
And now on lap 22 we come into the pit lane for our second pit stop. We went a few laps extra trying to get better tyres for the end of this Grand Prix. Might hurt us in the short run.
Go.
But as we come out, we did have a nice clear air, and we have actually
after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
Jumped Hülkenberg for sure. So Hülkenberg stuck behind Magnussen, has hurt him, and now we are chasing Verstappen, who is on the medium tyre, which is an interesting decision by Red Bull. And they must be, I'm not sure what the strategy was at Red Bull, and now we have a much fresher tyre and a better tyre, and we are all over the back of Max Verstappen here on lap 26. Will Romano get the job done? Romano now with the DRS, ranging up into the slipstream of Max Verstappen. Chris Romano pulls out from the slipstream to overtake Max Verstappen for 6th place in this Grand Prix. And it's an unbelievably good result for Sauber. If they can keep ahead of the Red Bull driver, Verstappen will be bitterly disappointed that his team has chosen the wrong strategy by putting them onto the soft tyre.
Caution. The virtual safety car is out. Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta.
Lap 30, the virtual safety car would come out, which would help us save a bit of air, save a bit of fuel to help us push. But now moving on to the next lap, lap 31, we've gone racing again, and we've made a mistake. We've just used too much of the track there, and we've made a bit of a mistake, and Verstappen's able to sneak by during that sequence. But now, because we're behind Verstappen, we've gotten DRS, and we've just breezed past him again on the straight. So we go back into 6th place for Romano, and that would be, we now probably cost ourselves a chance at Perez has Romano for 5th place, but he will make a last ditch effort, but unfortunately it will not be enough for Chris Romano, who will come across the line to finish in a fantastic P6 for the Sauber F1 team.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
And as the adrenaline dies down after another eventful Grand Prix, here come the top 3 out onto the podium.
So Kimi Räikkönen has won the German Grand Prix. I had a brain fade for a second. Vettel second and Ricciardo third. Hamilton was, I believe, leading the Grand Prix, but with about 8 laps to go, I must have forgot to put it in my edit. The engineer did come over the radio and said he had a problem with his car, so both Mercedes running into trouble, and it's cost him. Hamilton still manages to finish 4th though. So it's cost him a fair bit, but Raikkonen, Vettel, Ricciardo, Hamilton, Perez, Romano, Verstappen, Ocon, Grosjean, Magnussen Gasly, Leclerc, Alonso, Bottas only 14th, Vandoorne 15th, Sainz, Hartley, Sorokin, and then Hulkenberg had some issues. That's why the virtual safety car came out. He would finish 19th, and a retirement for Lance Stroll in 20th. So here's the championship standings. Raikkonen's got a good lead over Sebastian Vettel. There are the results. Hamilton's third now, dropping even further behind Kimi Raikkonen. It's close between Vettel and Hamilton, but Raikkonen is absolutely braining them at the minute. He's been the most consistent driver. His worst result was at Monaco with P5. So yeah, that's why he's been so dominant in this championship so far. Moving on to the next weekend, we did need to replace the gearbox, which was because it had done its mandatory 6 races, which was all good. And also we did the development part that failed. We did manage to upgrade that for the next race in Hungary, and moving the AI driver level up to 110, because I was probably clearly doing better than what I should be in the Sauber car now, and I feel confident enough to put it up to that level of difficulty. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Please leave your feedback down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.